Good morning, dear students of class 12. Welcome to the English online class. Today we are going to take up lesson 3, Deep Water by William Douglas. And this lesson is in your textbook Flamingo, main reader. A brief about the writer, William Douglas, 1898 to 1980, was born in Maine, Minnesota. After graduating with a Bachelor's of Arts in English and Economics, he spent 2 years of teaching high school in Yakima. However, he got tired of this and decided to pursue a legal career. He met Franklin D. Roosevelt at Yale and became an advisor and friend to the president. Douglas was leading advocate of individual rights. He retired in 1975 with a term lasting 36 years and remains the longest serving justice in the history of the court. The following excerpt, Deep Water, it is taken from his book of Men and Mountains by William O. Douglas. And this reveals how, as a young boy, William Douglas nearly drowned in a swimming pool. In this essay, he talks about his fear of water and thereafter how he finally overcame it. Notice the autobiographical part of the selection is used to support his discussion of fear. So, you are reading an excerpt from William Douglas' book of Men and Mountains, which is entitled as Deep Water. And this particular essay is about his fear of water and how he tried to overcome it finally. The autobiographical part of this selection, it is used to support the author's discussion about fear. And the background of the writer which we read just now, it also tells that this man, he was a teacher, but later on he decided to pursue a legal career. And he was the leading advocate of individual rights and 36 years, the longest serving justice he was in the history of the court. At the same time, Franklin D. Roosevelt, the President of the United States, he was a friend and advisor to the President. So, the man about whose work you are going to read, William Douglas, is a renowned personality. And here he is discussing very personal account. Students, we all live in some fear or the other. We call it phobia. And if we make an effort to overcome that fear, we find ourselves a new person, a more strong person. So let us get inspired from this lesson. The lesson begins like this. It had happened when I was 10 or 11 years old. I had decided to learn to swim. There was a pool at YMCA in Yakima that offered exactly the opportunity of learning swimming. So the author was 10 or 11 years old. He decided to learn swimming at the YMCA pool in Yakima. Mother continually warned against it and kept fresh in my mind the details of each drowning in the river. So, mother, like all mothers, was very much concerned about the welfare, safety of her son, and so she kept warning him and telling him in detail about each drowning case. Why? Because the Yakima River was treacherous. Means many drowning cases were reported, and so mother tried to caution her son. But the YMCA pool was safe. The Yakima River was dangerous, but the YMCA pool where he had enrolled himself for swimming was safe. It was only 2 to 3 feet at the shallow end, and while it was 9 feet deep at the other, the drop was gradual. The safe pool here at the shallow end, 2 or 3 feet deep it was. So initially, the swimmers who wanted to learn swimming, they used to keep to the shallow part of the pool. And once they gained confidence, they could venture in the deeper side of the pool, which was 9 feet deep. And even the drop here was very gradual. It was not steep, it was gradual. I got a pair of water wings and went to the pool. In order to learn swimming, with the assistance of water wings, he went to the pool. I hated to walk naked into it and show my skinny legs, but I subdued my pride and did it. So he disliked showing his skinny legs, but then somehow, as he had decided to learn swimming, he uh, went into the pool to learn swimming. From the beginning, however, I had an aversion to water, a dislike for water right from the beginning. When I was in it, this started when I was 3 or 4 years old. When the writer was 3 or 4 years old, he had developed a dislike for water, an aversion for water. The incident was, as a child of 3 or 4 year old, the writer had gone with his father to the beach in California. He and I stood together in the surf. I hung on to him, yet the waves knocked me down and swept over me. Suddenly, the waves came and they pulled him down and almost swept over him. I was buried in water. My breath was gone. I was frightened, father laughed. Father took the entire incident jokingly, but there was terror in my heart at the overpowering force of the waves. But the boy had a very chilling fear of the powerful force of waves. My introduction to the YMCA pool revived unpleasant memories and stirred childish fears. But in a little while I gathered confidence. I paddled with my new water wings, watching the other boys and trying to learn by aping them. I did this 2 or 3 times on different days and was just beginning to feel at ease in water when the misadventure happened. So the YMCA pool was safe, but still those childhood fears returned back. But then, gradually, the writer was gaining confidence. He was assisted with the pair of water wings and he also copied the other boys. Aping them means by copying them. And 2 or 3 times on different days he practiced and he was beginning to feel relaxed. At ease means relaxed, comfortable in the water when another misadventure happened. The first aversion was when he was knocked by the waves in the beach in California. Now, another misadventure happened with him in the YMCA pool. I went to the pool when no one else was there. The place was quiet, the water was still, and the tiled bottom was as white and clean as a bathtub. I was timid about going alone, so I sat on the side of the pool to wait for others. I had not been there long when in came a big bruiser of a boy, probably 18 years old. Another boy came, he was waiting. Nobody was there, so he thought he would wait for others to come. Another boy came and he was strong, an 18 years old boy. He had thick hair on his chest. He was a beautiful physical specimen, means very strongly built, with legs and arms that showed rippling muscles. He yelled. he cried, "Hey, Skinny, how did you like to be ducked?" So he teased him by calling him Skinny because of his lean and thin physique. With that, he picked me up and tossed me into the deep end. I landed in a sitting position. I swallowed water and went at once to the bottom. I was frightened, but not frightened out of my wits. So he was suddenly tossed into the pool by this man, strong boy. On the way, I planned, when my feet hit the bottom, I would make a big jump, come to the surface, lie flat, and paddle to the edge of the pool. So this was the strategy that the boy thought he is going to make in order to come out of water. That is, when he would reach bottom, he would hit his feet with force and would come out like a cork onto the surface, and then he would swim to the edge of the pool. So on this strategy he banked upon when he was going down inside the water. It seemed a long way down, though 9 feet was more like 90, and before I touched bottom my lungs were ready to burst. But when my feet hit bottom, I summoned all my strength. Summoned means called, and made what I thought was a great spring upward. So he was going inside. Uh, the lungs were all filled with water, ready to burst, but he had planned a strategy. He tried to work on it, hit the bottom with force. I imagined I would bob to the surface like a cork. I would come out to the surface like a cork. Instead, I came up slowly. I opened my eyes and saw nothing but water, water that had a dirty yellow tinge to it. I grew panicky. I reached up as if to grab a rope, and my hands clutched only at water. I was suffocating. I tried to yell, but no sound came out. Then my eyes and nose came out of the water, but not my mouth. So he tried to come up, but he was not able to come up. Only his eyes and nose could come out of water, but not his mouth. He was trying with full force to come out of water. I flailed at the surface of the water, swallowed, choked. I tried to bring my legs up, but they hung as dead weights, paralyzed and rigid. A great force was pulling me under. So instead of going up, he was again going down. I screamed, but only water hurt me. I had started on the long journey back to the bottom of the pool. So first attempt had failed. I struck at the water as I went down, expending my strength as one in a nightmare flies, an irresistible force. I'd lost all my breath. My lungs ached. Ache means pain because of water. My head was throbbing with pain. I was getting dizzy, unconscious. But I remembered the strategy. But in that circumstances also, I remembered the strategy. And the strategy was to get down with force, hit his feet at the bottom, and with the same force come out like a cork. And then to the surface, he would swim to the edge. I would spring from the bottom of the pool and come like a cork to the surface. I would lie flat on the water, strike out with my arms, and thrash with my legs. Then I would get to the edge of the pool and be safe. I went down endlessly. I opened my eyes. Nothing but water with a yellow glow, dark water that one could not see through. And then sheer stark terror seized me. Terror that knows no understanding. Terror that knows no control. Terror that no one can understand who has not experienced. I was shrieking underwater. I was paralyzed underwater, stiff, rigid with fear. Even the screams in my throats were frozen. Only my heart and the pounding in my head said I was still alive. So instead of getting up in the second attempt also, he was going down. We'll stop here and we are going to continue with the remaining part tomorrow. Thank you, and please read and